Hey there, this is Pam Perry, and we are here for another Speakers Magazine. And we have Marquesa Pettway, who is a former CNN anchor. She used to be part of Black NSA as the president and founder, building all that up. But we'll be into all the deets and all the details about how she is really tracking her speaking career and what you can learn about what she has done to make that transition and that pivot. She'll be up shortly, right after this. Speakers Magazine is going on 8 years old this year, and I am so excited about it. Our partner, Black Speakers Network, has been with us writing for about 7 years. And I just have a quick little video to kind of like explain some of the things and some of the covers over the years that we've had. And it has been an exciting ride. Black speakers are really doing big things.
This July, we joyfully celebrate 7 years of amplifying voices with Speakers Magazine since its inception in 2017 by the visionary Dr. Pam Perry. This pioneering platform has consistently elevated Black Americans, connecting them with meeting planners and organizations worldwide. Every voice has the power to be inspired by change. Our mission is to ensure these voices are not just heard, but sought after. Dr. Perry's mission was clear: to create a movement, not just a magazine, recognizing the need for a dedicated space where Black American speakers could shine. She aimed to bridge gaps in representation and ensure that often marginalized voices are heard loud and clear. The magazine's inaugural cover featured Dr. George C. Frazier, a titan in business networking and economic development, who has dedicated his life to uplifting Black businesses and communities. This set the tone for what Speakers Magazine would embody: a platform for influential voices, leading by example and making significant impacts. Over the past 7 years, Speakers Magazine has featured over 80 remarkable individuals on its covers, each bringing unique perspectives and transformative insights to audiences globally. These cover stories are testaments to the resilience, brilliance, and enduring spirits of leaders, innovators, and change makers within the Black American community. Notable additions include Stephanie Mills, the legendary singer, actress whose transition from the stage to advocacy has spurred social action, and Kim Coles, whose messages of self-love and acceptance resonate deeply. Ed Gordon, a respected journalist, provided profound insights into the craft of storytelling through journalism. Speakers Magazine is not just about covers. It's about the stories within. These stories offer readers a glimpse into the journeys of extraordinary individuals, their challenges, triumphs, and the impact they're making in their fields. Each edition is filled with valuable content that helps speakers hone their craft, from public speaking tips to personal branding and digital marketing insights. As Speakers Magazine steps into its 8th year, Dr. Pam Perry's vision continues to expand. The publication remains an invaluable resource for meeting planners seeking speakers who are leaders in their fields and committed to making a difference. Here's to more years of impactful storytelling, transformative conversations, and a continued commitment to elevating voices that have the power to change the world. Happy anniversary, Speakers Magazine. Keep speaking, keep inspiring. Visit speakersmagazine.com to learn more and join the celebration.
People always ask me, what is my favorite magazine cover? The last one. But this one in particular, if you can see, is Sharon Morton. We just got back. She is the founder, and I'm the co-founder of Black Door Society. We just got back from Washington, D.C., where we inducted 16 new members of the Black Door Society. It's about opening doors of opportunity and wealth and building legacy within our community. And Sharon, who was the cover there, and we had this photo done by Jeff Brooks, who also was there shooting the Black Door Society while we were there in DC as well. All of us, it's about 50 of us now, but that was one of my favorite ones. Dr. Marcia, you can see her there in the center. She has her own group, as well as Dr. Letitia Nicole, who just got inducted as a member as well. Dr. Letitia Nicole has been on the cover a couple of times. And just so that you know, when we do Speakers Magazine, it's because we're doing the magazine, but also we are live in person when the person has an event. So Dr. Letitia Nicole will do an event, or Dr. Cheryl Wood will do an event, and we're there on the scene. We were there on the scene for Dr. Karwana Wood in February. Oh my God, that conference about government contracting was so good. It was in Dallas, and then we are going to be tomorrow at Dr. Vicki Wright Hamilton's event in Atlanta. She is debuting her documentary at the Regal Theater in Atlanta. So that is one of the things about Speakers Magazine. It's about telling the story of the people on the cover actually showing up, getting these magazines out at the event, and then also to sharing what else is going on in our community. This is Allison Bond. She has an event tomorrow here in Detroit where Cynthia Bailey from Atlanta will be one of the speakers there at and she'll be here in Detroit at the Motor City Casino. And that is some of the things, and she'll be on the cover in May because she's celebrating 25 years. So the magazine has to do with events, speakers, really being out there, getting known. It's about really shining the light, as you heard from the commercial, on Black speakers. I'm unapologetically always really concerned about pushing and promoting those type of speakers. So I'm waiting on my guest, Dr. That made her a doctor. She's not a doctor, Marquesa Pettway, to join us shortly. But I will make sure that you all know why, if you want to get on Speakers Magazine, how to do that. Speakersmagazine.com. Obviously, that's where you go to do that. But here we go. Speakersmagazine.com. And really, you we I'm all about really promoting speakers and really making sure they're seen in the right places. Our magazine goes out to media. We mail them to media every month. I have a media list. I am a publicist by trade. I mail them out to meeting planners because they request them. They're always looking for Black speakers. And then also too, you can read it free online, and our speaker reels are embedded on the online issue. So the speaker reel is really important for people to understand who you are. They can kind of sample you from your sizzle reel, and that is really important. Those are on the website in the online issue, and it's also shared on our social media. We're on Instagram, Speakers Magazine. We also have Blue Sky. We're on Threads. We're on Facebook. Those are the things too. So there she is now. She's joining us now. We're going to have about 10 minutes or so adding her to the stage now if we can. There you go. We're adding you to the stage. We've got about 10 minutes, Marquesa. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really glad to have you. Really, really glad to have you. I know that I just kind of built you up a little bit and telling a little bit about who you are and what you do, but you can give us your pitch or your elevator speech or your intro statement, or however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has different names, but thank you so much for joining us today.
Wonderful. First of all, Pam, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Am I
hear you
clear?
great.
Great.
Yes.
I'm going to remove that little thing because, one thing I am is Zoom queen. So it's kind of set up for Zoom, but I'm going to remove that little thing for you. But today, I think I'm speaking to you about a space that really was largely responsible for my speaking business, and that is Black in SA. Largely responsible because it's a community group of National Speakers Association. And I'm a CSP, which is a certified speaking professional, which means Oh boy, between income and number of years and audiences, you have to prove a whole lot. It takes 5, 10, 15 years to get this certification. So today, I'm just excited to talk about, Black NSA, since I was a critical part of it for a good decade. But to your point, Pam, my own speaking business, I am known as Zoom Queen, and I teach speakerpreneurs how to leverage Zoom, not only just to have a place to meet, but to actually earn money and
That's
grow their
important.
business. Yeah,
That's
so we're going to
important.
do, I think, something separate all about that. Yes.
That is good. And so the topics that you speak on, are they around sales? Is it around presentation skills? Is it around communication? Where did you kind of feel like, wow, this is where I know we talked about background in theater and how that basically, I guess you would say that bug never really kind of goes away, right? As well as
Never.
journalism. Yes, yes. I have a friend, her name is Tina Polite, and she's been a PR person for many years. She actually did PR for TD Jakes for many years and also worked for Ford Motor Company when she was in Detroit. But she just got back to the stage and she's part of a play. She was part of a play and she said it was just like a fish coming back to water. And, she's I'll say it, she's over 60 and she was so excited about being in this. And so being in PR is related, it's communication, but it's different from theater. But speaking is performance. So kind of tell us what
Oh,
was your first speech?
okay. I love this. I love this. Well, as you may know a little bit, oh my gosh, when was it? I live in New York City, but I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. And after attending the School of Performing Arts, Arts Magnet, which is a school that Erica Badu attended, where Hordrobe and a lot of other talents out there, I decided to go to college at Texas Southern University in Houston. So within college, um, I got into broadcast journalism and and I can stop that. I can go to raw. I got into broadcast journalism, and which was my major, and my minor was theater. To your point, so I did the one woman show and all that lovely stuff. But one of the opportunities that became available, something you and I have in common, is NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. So I was one of their mentees, and then I was the queen of the TSU chapter for this. And through my networking and internships and all these different things I did as a college student, I got an opportunity to intern with CNN, which I call Cheap Noodle Network. Oh, we won't say that right here. But anyway, I got a chance to intern with CNN, first unpaid, and then I started getting paid, and I made my way all the way up to associate producer. And while I was there, I said, and I was in business news, of all things, small business news, where I could care less about business. I really wanted to be in entertainment, but if you know anything about network level, as a newbie, that ain't happening. So I didn't want to stick around. So after about 4 years, I went into corporate America for a long time, AT&T Business Markets, where I managed Tiffany's and Trump casinos and some other things. And while I was there, they needed an MC for their national development conference. I auditioned and I got it. And that's when I decided, I like this MC thing. How can I do this for a living? How can I make
Yeah,
money and do this for a living?
yeah,
And lo and behold, Pam, I joined Toastmasters around that time. I didn't know what
mhm.
it was. I just thought people just sat around and drank, but didn't realize it was just, but it was
Toasting.
great, just for the community alone, and people like to talk and speak. And from there, I got downsized from that AT&T business job, like a lot of other people did, and said, okay, what's my next step? And I said, my next step needs to not involve someone else controlling my destiny.
Mhm.
And although I had all these bills and a cat I had to support, and I'm living in New York City, I decided to go for it, even leaving an interview that was close to closing. I said, I'm going to go for it. And that's when I went to my first NSA chapter meeting in New York City. asked around, said, hi, how did you get into the business? Blah, 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 blah. And people told me, they mentioned the seminar companies, and I followed up within 6 months or so. And that's how it first kicked off, with me traveling all over the country, and sometimes outside of the country, to speak. And I did
I
that
love
for
that.
4.5 years until I said, oh no, I'm tired of, the middleman taking all of the money. I mean, hey, I don't regret that. It taught me a lot, and it gave me a schedule. It gave me, a name, and you learn the business. But eventually, at least for me, I wanted to leave it and do my own thing.
What type of
So,
seminars were you doing?
oh, I was doing everything. Well, remember, my background was communications. So I did how to be an assertive communicator versus passive or aggressive,
Okay.
which I love, because that's when I got into personas and personalities and all that good stuff. I also did the women's conference, where we would rotate keynote, and then we would rotate the keynote position, and the breakouts as well. I did creative marketing, which was
Ooh.
always fun. What else did I do? It was so many. I even did the indispensable assistant.
Yes, yes. It's
Indispensable.
funny. I do remember the seminar business years ago, and I always loved that. I actually wanted to have a seminar business years ago. I think it was called Eagles Events. And me and some friends, we were doing the paper napkin kind of like a business plan. But I remember the seminar events. I think some of them were Career Track or Fred Pryor.
Well, Career
Uh,
Track and Fred Pryor are the same company. Thank
oh,
God. I mean, no offense, but I never worked for them, because each company needed 2 weeks. So I did Skill Path and National Seminars, which I
yeah,
believe they may have combined. But
yeah.
Pryor did make an offer, but I wound up going with the other two.
Oh my God, I love that. That's really great uh, instruction for people to understand your path of that, because you have the natural skill, you were working on your skill, you were doing the Toastmasters, you were networking with the National Speakers Association, and then you were doing your own seminars and basically seeing who the audience was that would pay for that kind of information. And then I guess at that point you said, you know what, you were like the middleman, because they would do all the marketing and you would show up, and you, as a talent, I guess you would say you're the talent. But now you're like the talent as well as a marketing person. So
See,
I
that's the
love. Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so funny. I wish I could say that you're just the talent. You are the talent, but you're also expected to get some merchandise sold for the seminar companies. Yeah, because a lot of us as speakers, we would have our own back then, CDs, DVDs, that sort of thing. So you were responsible for trying to get the participants, and my audiences could be as small as 20 people all the way up to 500. It just
Mhm.
would depend on the week, because I would go from one city to the next. And those
Wow.
are called swings. And you would have 4 in a row. You go from one city to the next city to the next city. It's interesting. I wound up leaving it because I just got exhausted. I mean, I was at my highest weight. I was lonely as all get out, because it's wonderful. My favorite time was on the stage. But once I got
Mhm.
to, and you know what, I'm using this AI camera and I hate it. I got to stop that whole tracking thing. But anyway, once I got to, yeah, once I got to the hotel room, you really couldn't rest. I mean, think about it. You got to lay your head down, because you were either driving or flying, depending how far your next engagement was. So you were always there the day
Mm.
before. And my dear, once I got back to New York, all I did was want to sleep and do it all over again. And you weren't making a lot of money. So again, you
Right.
were just paying your dues. But I do like that they taught us that you had to learn how to sell from the stage
Yeah.
without salesy. And so you did get judged on that. And that was also important. But you did have an assistant in the room that would sign people in and do a lot of the logistical stuff.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
going to tell you, one of the things I did while I was on the road with them, and I also worked for AMA as well, American Management Association, and they pay
Mhm.
a lot of money, and they were different. But the biggest takeaway I learned from that is, while you're in a position, start to plan to be in a different situation. So
Yeah.
then I built up my coaching business. I did my own conferences here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
3-day boot camps, I call them. I did all my own stuff. I
Yeah.
even created a mastermind back then before masterminds were even a thing. And
Wow.
so thank goodness I put all of that in place that
Mm-hmm.
was waiting for, and I created relationships with different corporations that hired me, like
Right.
several colleges I would speak for, and they and then there's a contract you sign where for a while you're not able to speak at those places, a U.S. Army, you name it. But eventually, I was able to speak at all those places. It just depended on the calendar year.
Yeah.
And that changed my whole life because I went from literally making, if I was lucky, $500 a day to making, 5,000 a week,
Mm-hmm.
because when I did it for myself versus under them. But again, that was a good training ground because I wouldn't know what I needed to know. And then also being part of an association helps as well.
Yes, that is so good. So we have the association. I think she's the incoming president. She's going to be coming up in about 5 minutes or so. Jakara, I believe is how we pronounce
Hmm.
her name. Yours is Marquesa or
Hmm.
Marquesa. Is it Quessa or Quessa?
Marquesa.
Quessa.
Marquesa
Quessa.
Pettway. Yes,
So
Marquesa
Quessa.
Pettway.
So
Mhm.
Marquesa. And then tell a little bit of people how they can reach you and what you're doing right now.
All right. Well, what I'm doing right now is, and I'm so glad you're interviewing the newest president. I was the past president. So believe me, being a part of NSA is great. And then an even better thing is being a part of Black Speakers, the Black Speakers Community Group. But now, and this was doing, too bad I didn't get a chance to tell you the story, but this is huge. When the pandemic hit, a lot of folks had to pivot
Mm-hmm.
and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of businesses changed or went away. Well, my business quadrupled during the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
because I was known in speaker circles as Zoom Queen. And I just couldn't tell enough people about it, because you asked me, well, why was that a big deal? Again, Zoom is just not a platform for meeting. It's a platform where, for example, when I spoke at Microsoft, they initially asked me to do a breakout session because I leveraged Zoom before Zoom was a thing. Microsoft wind up hiring me as a keynote, one of the keynotes, and 4 breakouts, with one of them being a leadership breakout. And all of that had to do with the way that I engaged them on Zoom. So
Mm-hmm.
again, for me, it's a stage, it's a classroom, it's an office, it's a marketing studio, it's a streaming. So I would teach people how to use it. But of course, when the world changed, I kind of had to put my own business to the side and just focus on Zoom. And then I invested in being a licensor for Zoom at zoomtoincome.com. And so now, if people want the best of Zoom, like Zoom Enterprise, you want all of that stuff, they come under me, but Zoom still manages everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so not only do they get the best of Zoom, 1080p resolution, all that good stuff, now they get, now they get a chance to get Zoom webinars, Zoom meeting,
And
unlimited
we're gonna
cloud,
go into
all that
and we'll
stuff.
go into that like
Yeah.
the in the next one that kind of like talks about the nuts and bolts of it. But people
Mhm.
can read you at bizreinventlive.com.
Actually, the best place is zoomtoincome.com. Yeah,
Zoom to
Zoom to
income.
income.com. Yeah,
Okay.
Zoom to income. Thanks, Pam. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Okay.
Zoom to income.com
All
is
right.
is the best place to do that. But yeah, being able to move over from one thing to the other, and it took over my life. So now all I do, I'm still a speaker, but I really focus on virtual bizpreneurs when it
Okay.
comes to not only leveraging Zoom and that sort of thing, but just figuring out how do I use it. Because I'll tell you this, and I'm done. I met with one of my members today, and like so many others, I said, "So what services do you use?" And he's like, "Well, I use Vimeo, and I use Loom, and I use this for landing pages, and I use this and that." So he had about 7 or 8 different
That's a lot.
services within his Zoom, within his tech stack. And I said, "Do you realize under Zoom Enterprise, about 5 of these you already have?" He's like, "What?" Because again, if you're going to be a licensee, you actually got to come through the meetings and keep up with the updates. And so he left that call realizing I just saved $500 a year with a service I already had. So that's
Mhm.
another huge lesson, especially for speakers, coaches, authors, PR folks. Bottom line, solopreneurs is I need one system that can handle all these different levels. And that's what I like about Zoom. It handles all sides, the CRM, every little piece of it. So, yeah,
Mhm.
we can talk
Mhm.
about deep and wide at a later date. But yeah.
Zoom2income.com. Well, thank you so much, Marquesa, for joining us today. I know that we kind of rushed a little bit, but the next one kind of like rolls right into this. So thank you so much for joining us today. Speakers Magazine appreciates you, what you've done with Black NSA, what you helped grow that and really champion that for everyone that comes along after you, because it really
Oh,
is important. Mhm.
and you just said something very well because you said you're bringing up the current president. Um, I took Black NSA in one short sentence from being an annual meeting at the national conference, which happens every summer. It's now called Influence. I
Mhm.
took it from, and by the way, it's open to people not of color, but we need it. She can explain to you the whole purpose of that. But at first, when I joined NSA, it was great to see other people that look like me, but we would meet in the conference room and maybe have a Les Brown or Willie Jolly or
Mhm.
one of them speak to us. And that was always great. But I didn't feel like that was enough. So I guess God gave me the vision to take it to the next level.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. So I made it to where we get a big, huge, fancy ballroom. We have sponsors that pay for everything for us. We have a mastermind, Think and Grow Rich mastermind that's been going on for about 10 years now. I think we're on
Mhm.
mastermind number 15. She'll have to tell you which one we're on. And so I'm happy to say I took it from being, I guess you can say, a studio apartment to a mansion. And so that was my,
That's it. That's it. Now, at this point, now it's not just about a little small group getting together, but now you are really at this point a full fledged organization. So thank you so much for
and to be
joining us
clear,
today.
yeah, not an organization. We're probably considered now more of a club because the organization is the
It's a
parent,
is an umbrella, right? Yes,
which is
exactly,
National
exactly.
Speakers. Yeah, so Black
Hmm. But you
NSA
can
is
join. Like I can join just be NSA by
absolutely,
itself.
that's
And
correct.
that's
That
really
is
good.
correct.
So
And they
Marquesa,
can
thank
tell
you
you
so much.
that.
Zoom2income.com, and that's where you're going
Yes,
to find more about her. All right. God
yes.
bless you, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. All right,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
Pam. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.